Alright, so I'm about to tell you about this dream I had, right? So I was outside of a party, right? And as I was walking towards the party, I noticed I had 2 guns on me for some reason, right? So I started to feel uncomfortable. So I took the guns off of me and I tried to hide them behind this concrete thing, right? So when I looked to behind me, I seen this like a couple people walking towards me and I felt like kind of nervous low key. So I started walking towards the party. So as I'm walking towards the party, right, I noticed this dude that I know in real life. He be dancing and all that. Like he don't be into nothing. So when I went to go shake his hand, he ended up doing like some type of gang handshake with me, and I was confused because I knew he wasn't even like that. And there was this girl standing next to him that usually speak when she see me, but for some reason she ain't speak. So I started to feel uncomfortable. So instead of me going inside the party, I got my cousin to come pick me up. Now keep in mind, when my cousin come and pick me up, I noticed that he had like 2 or 3 people in the back seat that I didn't know. I was feeling kind of weird, right? So he ended up pulling into my grandparents' driveway. Now keep in mind, I knew that my grandparents had been dead for years in the dream. And I knew that nobody lived there, but when we pulled up, I seen my cousin's daughter, like, playing in the yard by herself. So she comes up to me and asks me to play with her, and I tell her not right now. So the little girl started going to my cousin's side of the car, and they was talking for a little bit. When she walked off, I was wondering, like, why is this little girl by herself? And then I noticed that the dude in the backseat had pulled out a gun. Now, when he pulls out the gun, he points it out the window and shoots it twice in the air. Now, as he's doing this, I see the police coming up the driveway, I guess because we wasn't supposed to be there because they knew that nobody had lived there. So now I'm panicking, right? Because I'm like, man, the police about to shoot us. So we try to drive off the driveway. But the police had already pulled in. So when they hopped out the car, it was a Spanish lady and this white guy, right? And they pointed the guns and told us to stop. So my cousin turned the car to the side so they could see everybody that was inside the car. So the guy in the back seat said something like, why they doing that or something like that. So I started snapping. I'm like, what you mean? Why? You just shot a gun out the window. Like, what you mean? Why? Bro, on my life, right? The next thing I started hearing was like this gushing sound. It was like, so when I turned back to look behind me, bro, this man was stabbing the mess out of this girl in the back seat for no reason. I put this on everything I love. So I started panicking because I knew the police was going to start shooting. So next thing you know, like I said, they started shooting, right? But I knew they were shooting towards him. So I hop out the car and I start running across the street to my godparents' house. So I hid in these bushes until I seen my pops drive past, right? And I hopped in the car with him. Now, as we're in the car, I'm going off and telling him, like, Dad, I seen all this happen before. We in the last days. I seen this before. And even though he had seen what was going on across the street, for some reason, he still didn't believe anything I was saying. So I started snapping on him, right? And I'm like, man, I'm your son. How don't you believe what I'm telling you when it's happening in front of your face? And I woke up, right? So in the beginning of the dream, when I had the 2 guns on me, right, God was saying that that's how dangerous it's going to be outside eventually, where you're going to feel like you need double what you used to have on you to protect yourself. So when I seen the dude that was dancing, that did the little gang handshake with me, God was saying that people that you knew once before is not going to be the same. It's going to be a demonic entity in the air. So when all that crazy stuff went down at the abandoned place that my grandparents used to live, God was saying no matter where you go, you won't be able to find peace. And when I was talking to my pops, God was saying that even though people are going to see what's going on, they still won't believe the times that we're in. They're not going to believe it.